everyone. So today I thought I will start something that is really overdue. Today is the 20th of July and I have begun doing these illustrations I think on the 17th. So it's the World Watercolour Month and I really wanted to take part, but it's been such a very busy month for me and I just couldn't manage to find any time to do that. I have also really enjoyed painting flowers, and so in the collaboration that we did with Irid, and I kind of felt rusty in my own sort of style, and I wanted to develop something a little bit new or freshen up my own sort of style and come up with something a little bit different. So I decided to go basically backwards and start with the 1st of July. You wouldn't have seen the demo to this illustration because I one evening sat down at my studio and I tried very hard to draw something like a botanical illustration that would be to my liking, and I just could not. I produced a couple of paintings which I really disliked, and I actually filmed the process to them, but I ended up deleting them because I really don't like them at all. And there's nothing wrong with them, you might have liked them actually, but I just don't feel it's me. So then I took so I tried to illustrate actually on papers that I would enjoy working on, and nothing worked. Tried different sketchbooks, and then I decided to pull out a sketchbook that I haven't worked with, and this is the one that you see here. This is the Dylusions sketchbook, and it's got a very smooth paper, which is unusual to a watercolor cold press, which I prefer, and sometimes this helps to change the paper to give you a different texture to work with, and yeah, it just worked. So here I pulled out for inspiration the book called Flower Color Guide by Darroch and Michael Putnam. I'll put the review up there and you'll see the link down below as well if you're interested. It's a great resource for flowers. The book is very small. It has a huge number of flowers in there, thousands probably, I don't remember, but I think it's around thousands. And the pictures are very good, all on white backgrounds, so you can take them as reference very easily. Yeah, so the only thing is because it's so dense and small, it's hard to keep it flat and open. So what I tend to do is either take a photocopy, or trying to avoid wasting paper and ink, I just take a picture on my phone and kind of have it as reference. This is a very loose reference. This is not me trying to do an exact depiction of the flower. So I went for this peony and I decided to create this sort of like a big bloom and flowers attached on just a line, thin line for the stalks, which I find really beautiful. It sort of has this element of modern botanicals combined with doodles. It's quick to do if you love botanical illustrations or art, but find it's impossible to have hours and hours to yourself to complete a piece of botanical work, then this is a faster way of doing things. I will be honest and say that for some part I have been inspired by Ali Brown. I love her modern and kind of abstract way of illustrating, but of course the last thing I want to do is copy her work. So I'm trying to make it very natural and authentic to my style. And so yeah, but just in case you wondered where the inspiration came from, partially it was from doodling and partially it was from Ali Brown, and then just my love for botanicals. So this would be a lot more detail for Ali Brown's style anyway, so she does it in a very abstract way, but I wanted to create a bit more detail, but without going overboard with the detail. So I have gone straight away with the fountain pen and a completely waterproof ink, which means watercolor will be fun to use. So this paper of this sketchbook, it takes well watercolor. It's not designed for big washes and a lot of water, but you can easily use watercolor on them, on the paper, and it does look pretty. It's a different experience of painting on a smooth paper, which I haven't done in years. I tend to use this sketchbook actually for other projects, mostly mixed media and collages, so this was quite different, but yeah, it has allowed me to start something fresh, something new, which I would highly advise if you feel like you're stuck. So I'm using a couple of colors here, combining some opaque colors with some transparent, which I have really grown to appreciate. The funny thing is, years ago I actually went through my beloved White Nights palette and eliminated all of the cadmium and all of the opaque colors and left the palette to be completely transparent, because at that time I hated opaque colors, and still now there are some colors that I don't like for their opacity, but it's not sort of because of the opacity, it's the color and opacity. So for me it needs to hit that sweet spot where the opacity comes together beautifully with the actual tone of the color. So yeah, now I don't really strictly separate colors from transparent to opaque. It's all about the tone and then the level of transparency of it. So now I'm going to combine it with sort of mixed media, and I'm swatching out a couple of things. Now this bit I really enjoyed watching Irid and her watercolor florals this month, and it's been so inspiring every time I watch her videos. It's such a joy and made me itch to you know, draw my own flowers, but like I said, it's been a busy and challenging month. So yeah, basically swatching out a couple of things there to match to the tone that is already laid on the paper. It helps quite a lot, and also gives you a good reference for future, sort of to see that little color selection or minimal color palette that you can refer to in your future paintings. So here I went for the Derwent Graphitint, I believe, and I picked a few green colors from the set. I've done also a swatch and review for that, so I'll link it up here and I'll put it in the card info up in the corner, so you can go ahead and check it out, and links will be all included below as always, to make your life a bit simpler and easier if you are interested in those art supplies that I'm using here. What else? I guess I'm just enjoying this limited color palette, which I have been doing lately. Selecting a color palette and minimizing it gives me a good starting point, and like I said, just playing with the opacity is the second bit of it, and then the third, I guess, step would be using other mediums. And now I'm going in with water soluble or watercolor pencils rather. These are by Museum Aquarelle Caran Dash, and they're super high quality and beautiful, and I just match the colors that I like. and that is it really. So I'm just adding a little bit of texture. This is the one right now I'm using, is the green ochre, I believe, and yeah, it is. And then the one before was sepia 10%. It's just happened to grow, like I feel so connected to this. Sepia 10% is just such a beautiful color, and in fact that's the main color that I used on the opposite page right there. I didn't film the first page because, like I said, I did it actually in my bed, and that was the kickstart to this whole process. So the flower we did today, we'll call it the 2nd of July, although we know it actually was on the 17th. It was painted on the 17th, so it doesn't really matter. I think the whole point is to paint during this month and try to do daily if you can. Otherwise, if you miss a few days and then sit down and do a few of those paintings in one go, that is absolutely fine in my opinion, because that's exactly what you want. You want to end up with as many illustrations at the end of the month as possible. Whichever way you get there is your own choice, and obviously your own kind of comfort zone. So do it however works best for you. The main thing is that we just have fun. Now I will be uploading a few of those videos today, so come back to my channel and check it out, and tomorrow hopefully as well, to catch up until the date, and then we'll start from the date every day. All right, see you soon.